So much fun. I gigged with him last night in Reading and he just did such a brilliant job. I feel like you're going to love him. If you don't, really, that's on you. Yeah, because everyone in Reading really enjoyed him. So, detective, I respect you. Equally, if you don't laugh, I'll have a fight with you in the car park after. And listen, I grew up with brothers. I am very violent. Someone help me quick! Welcome to the stage, the incredible Rodri Patrick!
Oh, thanks, Juno. Thanks, right. You can't say to a room of people in Oxford, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, they liked him in Reading. I mean, kick me in the head again while I'm down. Brilliant. Well, you said my name perfectly. My real name is Rodri Buttrick. We can't all have cool alliterative names like Juno Jones, can we? It's not a real bloody name. A real name is Martha Postlethwaite. So the bollocks, but my real name is Rodri Buttrick. You're probably wondering, madam, how I survived school. Barely is the answer. I came across this concept recently, though, called nominative determinism. It's when you're meant to gravitate towards jobs that suit your name. I do not want to know what a Rodri Buttrick's meant to do. I'm guessing a reluctant rent boy. I'll tell you an interesting fact about myself. Actually, let's not go mad. I'm going to tell you a fact about myself. I'm 34 years old. Now, I may not look it. A lot of my friends are incredibly jealous of how young I look, but let me tell you, it is not a good thing looking this young, because I graduated from university about 13 years ago. Can you imagine how young I looked then? I spent most of my university life desperately single. None of the women wanted to be labelled paedophiles. It's a shame, really. I'm really looking forward to getting older, though. I really cannot wait to be old enough to get away with being inappropriate. It'd be fantastic. I had to tell my dad off the other day because he abbreviated House of Multiple Occupancy to Homo. I just want to be old enough to get away with saying stuff like that. I don't know Oxford geography-wise all that well, and I hate being late for stuff, so I thought I'd make my life a bit easier this evening. I phoned a local taxi company and I was wandering around the streets. They said, where are you? And I wasn't quite sure. And then they said to me, what 3 words? I was like, I don't know. Taxi, hurry up. I'm a bit of a late bloomer, though. I've come to many things late, such as recreational drugs. I don't know why I'm looking at the long-haired fellow in the front. What a coincidence. I mean, I do find it very hard to purchase drugs. I will also say that this is all fictional, because there is a police officer in the room. If you ever try purchasing fictional drugs, it's brilliant. Very, very difficult. But usually, they think I'm one of you. They think I'm some sort of police informant stooge. Excuse me, can I have some cannabis? Oh God, why does I normally have to find ruffians? I can't find any in here. That's why I enjoy myself in Reading so much. You boy, go hence to a pharmacy and you can have a guinea. Literally, the bottom's falling out of the economy so bad in Reading, we're paying people in guinea pigs. Ridiculous. Right, magic mushrooms are absolutely wonderful. I don't know why I'm looking at the guy in the front row. How many are there of me? Now, what colour am I? Mauve and puce. It changes. You are meant to see new colours, and they are wonderful because hallucinations are very intense, very all-encompassing experience. It opens your mind to new philosophies, new ways of thinking. I did it with my mate Tom, and he said, he got very deep very quickly. He said, how come we are one of the only species that have self-awareness, have self-consciousness? What is it? Why have we been given this gift? What's the purpose of our life? And I looked back at him and said, I'm really sorry, Tom. It's very hard to take you seriously when you keep changing colour. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Who in this room was what I like to call school famous? It's when you were famous just within the walls of your school, normally for doing something a bit weird. Well, there was a boy at my school who I can't even remember his real name, but everyone just knew him as Inky Steve, because his maths class paid him to eat a whole ink cartridge. It was that day that Inky Steve realised that 10 times £1.80 wasn't worth it. He was a marked man after that. Oh, it's £12 in case that was bothering anyone. It's quite good because you got to adjust for inflation. That was a lot of money back in the 90s. I think, though, it was kind of a defence mechanism. Steve made himself as weird as possible, so he was sort of immune from bullying. Because you remember, I think 90s bullying was particularly vile and particularly weird and homophobic. Do you remember? Everything was gay. Pencil sharpeners, gay! Not liking football, gay! Liking football too much, really gay! I mean, with all this rampant homosexuality going on in my school, I don't know how all the year 11 girls got pregnant. It's ridiculous, really. After school, though, you have to go to work, don't you? And I've had previously a number of jobs that involve our offices, and they're more or less, they follow the same pattern, don't they? Normally about 6 months in, a manager will turn up, reinvent the open plan office, and call it something wacky, like the collaboration space. I mean, Patrick, you just knocked a wall through, giving us some beanbags. One place, they gave us these desks that go up and down. I was like, oh, brilliant, good for my posture. Now I can stand up whilst being bored shitless. It's one of the innovation. And one place wanted to send us on loads of courses. One of the best ones was emotional resilience training. Basically, how to put up with a toxic workplace. Effective delegation. How to do fuck all and make everyone else do your work. It's my favourite course. I must say, it's talking about growing up in the 90s. Is anyone here familiar with the 90s TV show Bodger and Badger? Oh, brilliant. Who isn't? No, you're too young, aren't you? In fact, a question for you guys, that younger generation. Did you have a brat summer? I did. I shit myself in Toys R Us. The older folk have no idea what we're on about. So yeah, this lot are too young for Bodger and Badger. You lot are very much on board, probably have the box set at home. We'll explain what a box set is later, I haven't got time. Go to the Science Museum. Bodger and Badger, you've got now the joy of watching me struggling to explain this ridiculous TV show to this lot, and they're going to think I've gone completely mad. Bodger and Badger, paid for by the licence fee, was absolutely fantastic. It was about a grotty man that lives in an equally grotty terrace with a badger. That was it. Ridiculous, that was absolutely it. Now, to be fair to this programme, for the 90s it was very, this really happened, madam, I was
there. You didn't mention mashed potatoes.
Oh, well, if you let me finish, I will. Also, your friends come dressed as a badger. But yeah, we'll come to mashed potato in a moment. But I mean, that would be awful if I walked off forgetting that bit. It was the main narrative device of the whole show, wasn't it? But for the 90s, though, it was very forward-thinking and a very diverse cast. The badger was both black and white. What was weird, though, about it was that the badger was absolutely obsessed with mashed potato, completely addicted to mashed potato, because everybody knows that badgers love mashed potato. There we go, you still have no idea what we're on about. Like you're joining a badger mashed potato cult. It is, badgers love mashed potato. Universal truth of life. We will all die, we will all have to pay taxes, and badgers love mashed potato. Now, Badger had a mouse friend called Mousy. Now, Mousy was absolutely obsessed with cheese. I mean, again, it was the 90s. Stereotyping on telly was rampant. Now, what didn't make sense to me, even as a 7-year-old, what didn't make sense, that Badger had to keep Mousy, his mouse friend, secret from Simon Bodger, the man. Why? This is a man who is elected to live with a badger, an objectively far more disruptive animal. The only way in my little brain that this could make sense was that maybe the badger was illegally subletting to the mouth. I think that's basically as far as we'll get with a dissertation on Bodger and Badger. I wonder which college will start offering that. Brasenose, probably. I'll just throw out the only college name I could name. I hope I wouldn't get booed for picking the wrong one and embroiling myself in political student politics. I'll tell you a bit more about myself. I am Roderick, you might know, is a Welsh name, and Buttrick is an abomination, but we said enough about that this evening. But my mum was born in Aberdare, South Wales, and when I was little had a proper South Walian accent, and unfortunately it did disappear the minute I got to the gates of a posh English boarding school. I'm now left with this Draco Malfoy-esque drawl. Won me many friends. None of them in Wales, all of them in Slytherin. Gives me a real problem in my identity though, having this ridiculously Welsh name, Rodri, and this ridiculously posh Southern English accent. I mean, when I go to Wales, I get beaten up for being English, and then when I go back to England, I get beaten up for being a twat. It's unfortunate, really. But you know what I absolutely love though? I love the Welsh language. It's beautifully expressive. My grandparents spoke quite a bit of Welsh, so I sort of grew up around it. I'll share with you my favourite phrase in Welsh. It merely means, that's disgusting, and it is, ach a fi. Apologies if I spat at anyone, it's just how the Welsh language is spoken. It is ach a fi. I'll give you some context. My granddad, for example, a Welshman may say it when they see something absolutely disgusting, like, I don't know, drunk shitting on their doorstep. My granddad would say it often when I shit on his doorstep. Well, I do really miss my Welsh granddad. He was a wonderful man, very, very funny. He passed away a couple of years ago, and I really, really miss him. I loved him to bits. And in fact, I'll sum him up quickly for you. I suppose you could describe him as classically Welsh. So he was about sort of this high, and used to work absolutely average height in Wales. You know, if you're an Englishman over there, I think you're Godzilla. But yeah, he was about that high and worked down a coal mine, Deep Dufferin to be absolutely precise. But he was very specific in his will. We were not to bury him. I guess he'd spent enough time underground. So we did the only thing that was, I guess, logical in South Wales. We had him stuffed, and he's now on display in the Rhondda Heritage Museum. To be fair, I've not seen him since they put the entry fee up. So if anyone wants to go on holiday to South Wales, pay my entry, I will then pay my respects. I really miss him though. What I admired about my granddad was his constant battle to keep up with technology, well into his 80s. He had iPads, laptops, he could do those alright, but the one thing that defeated him was the television. I remember him sitting in his living room, giant flat screen TV, stubbornly off, 5 remotes laid out on his lap, and he looked up at me and said, "Oh, I always just assumed that I would keep up with modern technology because I watched Doctor Who." I was like, "Oh, grandchild, I didn't know this about you. Who's your favourite Doctor?" "Oh, well, the one who did my prostate was marvellous." I was like, "Oh, so it's not really what I meant, Granch." You know what? At this point, like, there's a point in grandparents' lives where they develop a catchphrase. I mean, either that or they've got dementia and they're being repetitive. I'm sorry, a bit too relatable for some people. It's alright, you won't remember by the morning. But yeah, he developed a catchphrase like many other grandparents. His catchphrase he would use in like shops or pubs with anything more than 3 people in. He'd go, "Oh, it's like Piccadilly Circus in here!" I was like, "Granch, no, it's like, oh, it's like Piccadilly Circus in here!" And people of the Wigan Pen in Oxford, I am not proud of this. I lost it with him. I lost it with my dear, sweet 83-year-old granddad. I lost it with him to the extent that I took him on a day trip to London. I said, "You're coming with me, Granch." So we got on the train, that blew his mind. They don't have those in Wales. We got onto the London Underground system. He felt more comfortable being underground. He was used to that. We got changed to go onto the Piccadilly line, stopped at Piccadilly Circus, walked up the steps right into the centre of Piccadilly Circus, and we stood by the statue right in the centre of Piccadilly Circus. And there he was. He looked around, the lights, the chaos, the hustle and bustle of London all around him. And he said, "I've never been anywhere like this in all my life." I've been Roger Buttrick, thank you for listening.